everyone, this is Nightbird here with a reading for the collective. Today we are doing the Taurus solar return reading. Happy birthday, Taurus. This message will be relevant for everyone because we are in Taurus season right now. So it can give you a good idea of what's going on for the collective, even if you're not a Taurus yourself. But this reading may be particularly resonant for those with Taurus as their sun, moon, rising, or Venus planetary allotment. So we're going to go ahead and start getting cards out and find out what we've got for the 12 months coming up, Taurus. So I am very heavily influenced by Taurus myself. I'm a Taurus rising and a Taurus Venus, and I've got a Taurus somewhere else as well in the top 20. So let's go ahead and fill out this grid with the next 12 months. It's been a really busy time for me, and I haven't really been having a lot of excess energy to film readings, so thank you guys for being patient and tuning in when they are able to be filmed. So much appreciated. Whoa. Well, I'm not sure what direction that original first card was oriented now, so I feel like it was upright because this deck should all be upright. Typically for me, if anything comes out in the reverse, it's pretty significant because I do try to reset my decks regularly. All right, this is good. We're going to take those two together and then one more here at the end, and we've got the 12 months lined up. There it is. I'm also going to get one from the Universal Tarot here to give us an idea about an overall big picture. Haven't opened the deck yet. On the bottom we have Judgment. Okay, this definitely feels appropriate for the times that we're in right now. People are being called to choose the type of world they're wanting to inhabit next. Are they going to follow the call of the higher self, or are they going to stay stuck in the grave, in the coffin of the old paradigm that's no longer life-sustaining and that doesn't give you vitality anymore? So that's just a starting message. I love that. We have the sun coming out right away. So the answer is yes, we're going to rise into our highest self. So Taurus, this is a very beautiful blossoming time for you. The sun card, we have on it a young child who is waving a red cloak in a grand flourish and riding with, well, actually the red cloak, he's not holding on to it. He's just let it go, perhaps. Like he's letting go of the clothing that he was wearing. He's naked. I can't show you that any closer because YouTube standards don't allow nudity. But anyhow, in this sun card, this kid is very joyous. He's got his hands thrown up. There are sunflowers blooming behind him. And the horse that he's riding is looking right at the camera. It's a white horse. And the horse is looking right at the camera saying, I see reality and I am still going to move forward on this joyful path where I'm choosing to celebrate my own authenticity and shine. I'm not going to live in the dark anymore. That's what that Judgment card is about, is staying in the shadow. We're ready to move past that, Taurus. So congratulations. It looks like it's going to be a very, very positive year for you. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what the months are like coming up. So I'm starting here with May, even though Taurus does, extend back into the previous month. Pretty sure about that. My dates are terrible. All right, so for May, we have the Lovers. Now, it did come in reverse, but remember, I gave it a spin accidentally when I was shuffling there. So what this is telling me is that there's been decision makings and relationships, things that involve two options, either in your love life or your personal relations with other people, or in a material world concern, an important decision on what you're going to do with your world building. The spin that happened could show that you've been in some confusion over that. I'm going to leave this upright because I really believe that's what it was supposed to be in the first place. This is number 6. Number 6 is also a number of victory and public celebration as far as I am concerned. And so we're going to go ahead and see what's coming up for June. We may come back to the lovers here for the current month. So in June, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so Eight of Pentacles is a card of putting in the work on a venture that you are really engrossed in. This is usually something you're doing in the real world. Maybe it is an actual work project. Maybe it's volunteering. Maybe it's fixing up your house. You could have an exercise routine you've implemented that you are really putting in the work on. So that's what June is going to be about, is putting in the work on whatever decision this is that you've made, or whatever path that you've chosen. There was a fork in the road that's happening now, and we're choosing what we're going to be doing next. I feel like that's what this is having us understand with the Lovers card. So Eight of Pentacles is going to be putting in time, energy, and devotion to whatever that venture may be, or in general. So if you don't have a particular decision that you've arrived at, and maybe you're just coming into better balance with yourself, which the Lovers can also indicate. Maybe this Eight of Pentacles for June is talking about you're going to have a lot of opportunities to continue to add to that. That may be by restoring your health, by getting more rest, for example, which will bring you into better balance. So that you can make better decisions mentally, feel more stable emotionally, have more time to practice your spirituality. In this way, even something as simple as adding rest to our routine can help us come into better balance. For July, we have the High Priestess. Love that. So this is a marker where we're going to turn and look back at the work we've been doing since May, which is, now. And we're going to see how it's going. We're going to see what else needs work. And we're going to ask ourselves, is there anything that we're missing that we want to add to what we're already doing? Because everything that you're going to do this year, Taurus, is under the sun. It is very auspicious time for you to be making new moves and building a new life, and examining yourself and asking, into all those little dark corners of your heart and your soul, and yelling, hey, 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 is there anything in there I've forgotten about? Is there anything that wants to come out? Maybe you had a dream when you were 10 years old and you've told yourself all this time, oh, that's silly. Why would I want to build a car now and go into a soapbox derby? Maybe it's something as simple as just a childhood dream that you didn't get to fulfill. It's time to do that joyously and having fun with it. This is a card about putting more fun back into your life. So ask yourself where you've let the fun go that your soul really wants to have. And that's what I encourage you to do in July, Taurus, is look in and see where you need more sunshine for your personal emotions and personal well-being. And bring that into your manifestation. This cat and the High Priestess card is looking directly down at that sun. That's what the cat is wanting, is to stand in the sun and to play and to enjoy. This is a cat that's feeling frisky and lively and ready to go out and interact with others, I feel like. Usually the High Priestess is a very internal card, a card of quiet and sometimes solitude and deep thinking. But I don't think that's the case here. I think the case here for July is you're going to be able to look inside and just see very clearly, pretty quickly, what it is that you're really wanting to do. And so it's going to be a card of spiritual clarity. All right, that is July. Things are looking great so far. Let's see what we got in August. All right, so we have the Eight of Swords. So this is very interesting that it comes after the High Priestess, because this cat now is looking over at the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords talks about not only, so this cat in July, us, the High Priestess, we're looking towards what is going to bring us joy, but also now we have to look in August at whatever is left that is entangling us and keeping us stuck in that past paradigm that we're moving away from with that Judgment card that we started out with. So in August, after, we've had a bit of a upwelling of fun and flow and fiery actions in our lives and enjoying ourselves. August, we might feel a little bit of a cooling off and a stepping back and examining things in a more intellectual way, a more logical way. Obviously, the High Priestess asks us to look at our emotions and our spirituality, while the Swords reminds us to look at our thoughts and to look at our mental patterns. So this high priestess is looking at these 8 swords and evaluating different aspects of the mindset that may or may not be useful at this time. So in the classic 8 of Swords, we have a lady who is enclosed by a ring of swords. She has a blindfold on and she's very loosely tied. She could pretty easily get out of her bonds and lift the blindfold off and see how to step out from around the swords, but she hasn't wanted to do it. She's been afraid to do it, either afraid that she will be cut or hurt by the swords, or just doesn't want to look at them at all. So oftentimes this can represent something from our past that has cut us and hurt us before that we really haven't wanted to look at. And so we haven't finished processing it and letting the rest of that grief or anger or whatever emotion might be, letting it go. So that can be what a focus in August needs to be, guys, is burying those old hurts for good finally. And by burying, I mean uncovering them, like that Judgment card, bringing them out of the soil into the light where they can be exposed and then return back down into our spiritual earth, so to speak, and reabsorb so that our soul can become healed and whole again. On this 8 of Swords, we have also a blue ribbon that is twisting around the different swords here. And so blue is a color associated with throat chakra. So it might be that you need to speak up about some things as you're clearing stuff out. You might need to give an apology to someone you've wronged in the past. You might need to openly tell someone something they haven't been getting the hint about that's been a problem between you. So instead of being passive aggressive or just hoping they'll get the idea, you might need to understand that people are not mind readers and you have to actually tell them out loud what it is that you're having a difficulty with. So think about that, guys. So moving on for September, we have the 7 of Cups. Okay, so this is a card about having multiple options to choose from in the emotional world. And that does feel very resonant for this year for most signs, in my opinion. Things are getting shook up all over the place. And we need to ask ourselves what kind of emotions we want to be cultivating, not just what kind of emotions are arising, because obviously there's a lot of emotions arising right now around us. Fear and anger and shame and all of those, you know, and of course there's always joy mixed in there as well, and gratitude and forgiveness. But those ones don't get as much press as the negative emotions, do they? And so partly this September card, the 7 of Cups, is telling us that September is going to be a great time to focus on what emotional cups we want to be filling up and to notice our own patterns that can be keeping us stuck, our mental patterns. That's 8 of Swords. Like, for example, if it's a pattern for us to ruminate on the news and feel afraid of what might happen for the future, then what we're doing is filling up this cup over here with fear or worry or anxiety. And so we might need to, over this course of, July through September, look at our mental patterns that are bringing us emotions we're not wanting to manifest, and to then start to pour more into the cups where we do want to manifest those emotions. So for example, if you want to feel good about humanity, maybe what you want to do is go and volunteer somewhere where people are planting trees to help Mother Earth. That is pretty much sounds like a win-win all around. I'm not sure how that one can be spun to be negative, right? So that can add to a cup for you of doing service for others, which a lot of people are really drawn to do as a natural thing. I saw 1414 on the clock there, guys, so that could be a significant number for someone right now. So September, the 7 of Cups is going to be all about looking around our daily world and seeing what kind of emotions we're pouring for ourselves to drink. So pour yourself better emotions if you are drinking a bitter cup this year, guys. And for Taurus, Taurus can ruminate. It's a very slow to change sign traditionally, a sign that doesn't love change. But this is telling us with the sun That's off this year. All bets are off with the stereotypes of Taurus. Taurus is ready to throw off anything, including self-beliefs that might have been holding them back at this time. So much faster flowing emotions are available, Taurus, if that's what you decide that you want. All right, let's go on. After September, in October, we have the Queen of Cups, and there we have an immediate elevation into a glorified emotional status as the Queen. So the Queen, a feminine energy that rests in this sea of emotion, calmly drinking a cup of tea and waving high. This is the cutest otter on this picture, and wearing a crown that sits very well. It's not a heavy crown at all. This Queen of Cups is someone who is very comfortable in the emotional world. And Taurus, that shows me that you've been doing a lot of work, excuse me, not only leading up to this year, but it looks like it's going to be really productive for you from July through October to clear out those mental patterns and elevate your emotional status into a much more calm and peaceful and receptive state where emotions that you're wanting are coming to you more readily rather than you having to go out and chase them. So I love that. I really get a feeling that peacefulness and slow and steady is going to be the kind of actions that we're wanting to take here. Because of all the cards that are out here, even those floating in water, they're very calm and still. There's not a lot of motion or action here. So this is about slowly, morphing from one emotional state and rising into higher emotional states calmly and placidly, and getting used to resting in those states. Maybe we're so used to being stimulated that when we're having a peaceful moment, it feels wrong or uncomfortable, or the voices come in that say, you should be productive. Anything that says should, that's not you, that's society. So every time you hear should in your mind, ask yourself, should I? Is that a true statement? And go from there. But this Queen of Cups for October is telling me that, by the fall, we want to be in a much more peaceful emotional energy by having chosen to add to the emotions that we want, not by allowing the emotions that throw us off our game to remain in our lives and in our minds rent free. That's what this is worries and fears living in our minds rent free. And so we're asking us to, run all the cups through the dishwasher and get a clean set and start filling them up with the emotions that are going to bring you into this peaceful state where you're minding your own biz, floating in your own happy emotions, having a cup of tea, waving at folks, and they can come say hi, but it's, you're in your own world and it's the you show, and that's all right. There don't have to be other people around you to make your emotions regulated or to complete you or to give you anything emotionally. We can give it to ourselves. And that's super hard to hear when you haven't had practice at it and you know that you deserve to be given love by others. But the fact is, although we are all connected and from one energy, each of us still is an own individual point. And it is up to us to be the steward of our ship. We cannot give up our leadership of our own life, hoping that someone else will step in and be the magician for us in one of the categories of our life that we aren't good at or that we don't enjoy doing. Like if you don't love finances and you're hoping that someone's going to come in and save the day for you, that's not how it works, really. The sun sees very clearly that finances might be blocking you, and so light needs to be shed on that, and that can be hiring an expert. It doesn't have to be you doing all the things. If there's something that you aren't good at or that you just don't like doing, it's okay to have someone else do it within a trustworthy framework. So think about that, guys. Also, if there are parts of your life that you aren't managing or haven't wanted to manage, and find out how you can shed light on those and make progress with them without necessarily having to do all of it yourself. There are ways that you can receive help, even if someone doesn't offer it to you first. You might have to go seek it out and pay for it. And that can make you a little mad. It's like, why am I not worthy? Why aren't people just coming to me and offering to help? Don't they see that I'm struggling? Yes, but everyone is struggling right now in different ways. Maybe not everyone, but everyone who's waking up is. So, we can't blame other people for not being our sun. There's no savior coming for us. We're our own saviors, guys. And this is the lesson of all of the mystics across time, in my opinion, is when we elevate and become our own magician and shine the sun into all the areas of our life that need attention, that's when we really start to have success and to flow in life. So don't neglect areas of your life. Sorry, guys, that was a big, long rant from Spirit. Let's go on to November and see what's coming up. Oh, geez, the moon. And so interesting because that appears right underneath the High Priestess. All right. So in this case, that tells us that after we've come through this late summer into the fall period of examining our mentality and filling up different cups to rise into a better emotional state, the moon says it's time for kind of a break and for going inward. I love that this comes in November because for many of us, November is the beginning of the new year. It is when All Hallowed Eve happens. Just after Halloween, All Saints Day, it is when the veil is thin and the ancestors are close to us. So this could be telling us that November is a good time to pause and to pay homage to those things that we've just talked about, the new year and connection with the ancestors, and also becoming attuned with the cycles of the earth as it relates to the moon. So that could be time and tide, that could be phases of the moon, work where we're manifesting at the new moon and where we're releasing at the full moon, for example. So it might be that you want to begin off your earthly new year, let's call it, with a new routine, for example, that might relate to any of those things. This can talk about getting really, really, really grounded in your femininity as well, because the moon is considered a receptive or feminine card, as opposed to the sun, which is considered a masculine card and more of an outward flowing as opposed to receptive energy. Now, I love that here this moon is looking right over at that sun. So it's showing that even though we're going to be going inward or doing any of those things, we're never losing sight of our own beautiful spirit and joy and goals and the things that are going to make us happy. So I feel like this is showing a lot of emotional maturity right now, and a lot of spiritual self-awareness, guys. So congrats, Taurus. Really, you guys have been doing a lot of work, and it's showing, and it's going to show even more in the year coming up is what I'm seeing. 22:44 on the clock there. All right, so then in December, what do we got coming out? Death. So after this moon card, where we maybe have been thinking about how we're going to launch our new life or connected with the ancestors or whatever, here is this death card, which I'll put it on this side because that's the way it would look for you guys, which we see that this moon is looking directly towards the exit for the death, which means that they already know that there's an ending coming, and they are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel as they approach. So to me, this is that judgment card throwback here, that we started off with, whatever that old paradigm was, or the old mindsets or emotions or the lifestyle that we're leaving behind. It's really going to be coming to an end by December, in time for the calendar new year in January. I think that's really interesting, guys. Wow. I love this number 13 card, the death card, the illustration here, because we see a cave and a spiral that leads ever inward, but it is going towards that light, and that light is that sun that is shining right there, right next to the death card. So also this is telling me that there's going to be a huge rebirth opportunity for you from November into December, with the sun energy overarching that moon and the death card. This is us truly seeing the path and being able to go faster because of that. It's like turning on the high beams and suddenly you can see the road and you're like, zoom, I'm going to get this now. This is kind of what it feels like. You see what it is you're aiming towards, and it's all systems go as far as I can see. So All right. So then in January, starting off 2026, can you believe it? The Emperor, number 4, number card of victory. Again, also in my opinion, of initial completion of celebration and being recognized. So the Emperor, this is a masculine energy. Once again, we're getting a really great mix of masculine and feminine energies out here with the Emperor and the High Priestess, with the Sun and the Moon. We've got the Lovers, which has both of them on it, and also the Queen of Cups, which softens a little bit some of this heavy masculine energy also in the reading with the Emperor and the Sun. So the Emperor card in January, this is bossing up. This is large and in charge. This is a person who is acting in the material world for the best interest of themselves and the world that they're building around them, including family, friends, loved ones, community, their country, the world at large. Could be any of those things. The Emperor here is a walrus. So we don't really think about a walrus as an athletic creature, but what do we really know? This walrus might kick your butt, right? He's got the long, sharp fangs, and he's certainly got the body weight to do some damage if it should decide to squish you, for example. So it might be that, some of our talents or our strengths aren't what other people would expect in how we're going to rule our own world. But nonetheless, they get the job done. So that's kind of what I'm hearing here. Like, we might not look like a stereotypical emperor, but it doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of power, and maybe people are even underestimating us based on our body or our looks or something like that. So if that resonates, I just want you to know you can go out and run a 10K if that's what you want to do, even if people haven't told you that you can, or have told you your whole life that you can't do that. That's just one example of defying people's expectations. And I feel like that's an energy that this Emperor is giving off right there. They don't give a F what it is that you think. They are moving towards this sun and creating their world and ruling over it in ways that are pleasing for themselves and not for others. There's nobody else in this card. This Emperor is choosing for themselves. They're not choosing based on any other single person or even their family or children. This is someone who finally is ready to live their life more for themselves. So I love that, Taurus. We are very generous people, and sometimes we can overgive. And so also this Emperor, which is this Aries, ruled by Aries, I believe, can be a sign that we want to be a little more in control of our own tendencies to want to do that, like give a lot and just help other people enjoy their lives while we're making it harder for ourselves somehow. Right now, this year is about looking towards our own joy, not about creating joy for others necessarily, all right? Okay, so February, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Love that. A mature material energy here. More than an opportunity, more than a fresh start. This is can be a person who's coming in to supplement or enhance your life in some way materially, like a personal trainer at the gym, or an investor in your company, or a client who books a session with you a week and suddenly now you can afford to do X, which you weren't able to afford before, like buy some new equipment for your business, something like that. That's what the Knight of Pentacles can be. Can also represent your own energy at having taken a material journey where you're now ready to invest again on that path or on a new path. So we had here in June, which is next month, this Eight of Pentacles, where you're contributing to something materially. And so it could be that by February, we're going to be ready to invest more in that particular journey, or someone else is going to come in to invest in that journey as well. So remains to be seen. I love the Knight of Pentacles. It's definitely a slow and steady wins the race kind of energy. In the classic deck, we see a knight sitting on his horse, and they are standing still in a fertile field where they have the opportunity to plant that pentacle if they wish to do it. So he's got a very solid hold on the pentacle and can do anything with it. So it's a very good card of flexibility in the material world as well, I would say. On this card, we have the knight represented by an elephant with tusks. So the 2 cards in a row with tusks there, guys. And also there is the Queen of Cups, which is the otter, and the Lovers, which are seahorses. So there are a lot of watery feeling animals here and tusks. So if any of those creatures are really ringing a bell with you, that might be something to look into. The Knight of Pentacles, represented by that elephant, is having a pink ribbon on the top of the hat, which brings a little bit of a fun and joyous energy to this usually really boring and somber card. You know, it's not somber, but it's just like, he's just standing in a field. It's a yellow background, so that's a good indicator with the sun and all that. But here, you know, this Knight of Pentacles is elevated to something more playful. And pink also makes me think of the high heart chakra, where we're connecting with the divine and where we're experiencing joy in the flow. And so that's what this Knight of Pentacles elephant is doing with that pentacle in their trunk. They're playing with that pentacle like someone flipping a coin. So it could also be that you're going to flip a coin and make a decision. We had that Lovers card to start off with. So who knows, guys? I think that's an interesting idea. So in March, we had 2 cards come out together. The Ace of Wands with the Knight of Swords. Okay, super interesting. Ace of Wands, Knight of Swords. So I feel like this is needing to defend an idea or a passion from people who might want to attack it, or it might be clearly seeing something that needs to be addressed in the intellectual or mental sphere before this Ace of Wands can really come into bloom. So let's look more carefully at that. So this Ace of Wands, it's a pussy willow that is getting ready to bloom. It's got the little buds on there. It's got the same pink ribbon that we see on the hat, the helmet there of the elephant, the war helmet, but it's a pink ribbon. So that's like a spiritual warrior, love and light kind of energy to me. And here with the Ace of Wands, it almost indicates a spiritual blossoming then following that. Or an epiphany, or a knowing about your path, your fire, what it is you want to do. This Ace of Wands, it can also be a gift coming in from the universe, a divine inspiration, a revelation, something like that. And it might come from a messenger like the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is a person taking action, oftentimes can be rushing into a situation hastily with their swords out. And so that might mean, you know, argumentative or quick to defend your position. And that can be part of this. But also with this Eight of Swords that came earlier, we're looking at ways that we communicate. And maybe some of the ways we communicate can be a little edgy or harsh, and they don't need to be. Maybe we want to soften and bloom more gently as we're moving forward. We can still defend our ideas, but we can use it with this soft pussy willow branch instead of this sharp sword that might damage the people that we're expressing any truths to. So there can be perhaps a truth that wants to be expressed in March, in spring, about whatever this message has been so far, and that you're going to want to do that. This also can be similar to the Knight of Pentacles. It can be another person in your surroundings. The Knight of Swords can be someone coming in with news, with an offer, with a demand, a negotiation, or it can be someone coming at you with an attack. So be on guard in the spring, that whatever it is you're putting your passion towards for it to grow, that you've thought about the ways you're going to communicate what that is to the people that might be around you, so that they can understand it and help support you on your journey rather than attack you or be afraid that you're changing or that your life is changing. So, all right, moving on to April, then we have justice. Wow, we start with judgment and we come into justice. All of this has been talking about coming up into our sun, into our authentic self, and that is exactly what the justice card is talking about in one aspect, which is related to the lovers. Here, this lovers card can be about coming into balance with the masculine and feminine, with the inner and the outer world, the spiritual and the material. And the justice card speaks to the same thing in one aspect or in one interpretation. Classically, this is the heart being as light as a feather. This is Egyptian symbology, which we also have here on that moon card where we see Horus, I believe, who is representing the moon in this case. I could be wrong about that. So now this justice card talks about us removing the darkness and the shadow from our hearts so that it lightens and lightens and lightens until we feel the joyous lightness that is being divine, that is flowing as a divine creature in a human experience. So that's part of what this overall message is about for Taurus for the upcoming 12 months. And it's also saying that perhaps by this time next year, you're going to be receiving some justice in your material world, because we do have some material indicators out here with that Eight of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. Especially also the Death card with something coming to an end, and the Emperor card with something new beginning with that Knight of Pentacles. It can be that you're bringing more justice to your own world, or more justice is coming to your world because you've been making these decisions to move away from mindsets that aren't serving you, that are limiting you, because you've been pouring better emotions into your cups, because you've been resting in calmness and peace, because you've been looking towards your joy instead of thinking about the fear of it all. All of these things could be bringing you more justice in your material world next year. Maybe just by, you're going to look around this time next year and be like, wow, I'm surrounded by much better people that actually support me, that I have a good time with, that don't have unrealistic expectations of me. I'm not people pleasing them. I'm standing in my own, wallowy, frumpy walrus energy, whatever that might be. It feels like justice can be ready for you this time next year as you make these adjustments. So this is the main message, guys. I'm going to pull a couple oracles over here. I'm going to go with the decks that came out as I was getting ready to do the reading. And the first one was Angels in Your Biz. I think that's going to be super appropriate since we have had this material focus for part of this reading. And remember, that doesn't necessarily mean money. It could be your household, your body. It can be land. It can be nature. It can be the world around you, society, your community, all the things that affect you as an incarnate human. All right. So we have responsibility, number 11. I am not a victim. All right. So I'm going to read that one. I am not a victim. So maybe that is one of the limiting patterns, the Eight of Swords, that we have to let go of and put to death in order to really stand in our sun. Is to let go of this idea that we're a victim and to realize that we're an all-powerful creator, guys. So number 11, responsibility. The universe isn't testing you, it's reflecting you. It is time to take full responsibility for everything happening within you and all around you. If you aren't happy with the way things look, change them. Remember, whenever you point your finger, there are 3 pointing back at you. I'll have to think about that one. Time to look at your own stuff a little deeper and notice the stories you've been telling yourself about the situation. Start by saying, I choose this. I am not a victim. The more we assume responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, energy, and circumstances, the more those things begin to improve. All right, I think this goes along really perfectly with this reading, particularly when it says it is time to look at your own stuff a little deeper and notice the stories you've been telling yourself about the situation. So this high priestess here could be looking at the Eight of Swords, and maybe the story that you've been telling yourself is that you're a victim of the situation. So maybe you're like, I'm stuck in this job. I'm a victim of the situation. I can't get out. Have you tried? Have you looked for a new job? Maybe there are actions you could take which are keeping you stuck, but you're saying that you're a victim of the situation and things can't change. So that could be the message that Spirit is telling you, is to get out of the victim energy and assume responsibility for your own thoughts and for taking actions to improve your circumstances. All right, it's a little bit of a tough love there, but Taurus, we like comfort. We like we like things a little cushy. Sometimes we might not want to have to work as hard as we have to work to uncrustify ourselves. But we do have to take responsibility for it. Once again, there's nobody coming in to be our savior to fix the world for us. If we want to stand in the sun, we have to take responsibility for getting there. If your finances stink, you need to get help or fix it. If your body and your health stink and you haven't done everything that you can to do that, it's time for you to find a way to motivate yourself to do it. Maybe you need to get therapy in order to have someone help you stick to your goals. That's a lot of what I do with my therapist, is talk about my daily routine and bringing my own life into balance. I love this. So I'm getting one from the Work Your Light Oracle deck here, and it's the Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. All right. I wanted to make sure I got that right. Beside you. And so that goes right there with that moon card in November when we talked about honoring the ancestors and knowing that your lineage is a part of who you are still. And I also correlate that to the cards here about bringing things out of the past and finishing a cycle, because we could be clearing out some patterns that have been inherited to us by our ancestors through our DNA or through generational karma. And epigenetics, which is a science, does show that things are passed down through our DNA more than we realized. Emotional things. For example, survivors of the Holocaust, their grandchildren have different gene expressions than those who didn't go through the Holocaust. I don't know all of the specifics on that, but I do remember that that's one you can look up as an example of epigenetics. So it could be, for example, if in our past our ancestors experienced famine, we might have patterns ingrained in us now about hoarding food for survival. Or maybe we were burned at the stake as a witch in a former life, and now we have fears of speaking out. Here's that, Eight of Swords, where the person is trapped with the blue ribbon signifying the throat chakra and our communication and our speech. Maybe it's been blunted, and now it's the time to really come out swords blazing like that Knight of Swords and say, you know what, I'm attacking with what I really do need to say. And this is what I'm passionate about. That is the Ace of Wands that we're talking about, perhaps. Maybe it's finally cutting through all of those old patterns that have been keeping us stuck. And that's going to be what brings the justice to us here by this time next year. So I'm going to read this card, the Keepers of the Earth. It is on page 100. All right, so we have, it says, you are so supported. You do not stand alone. You have a magnificent team of helpers, both in this world and of the earth, who are here to help you every step of the way. Call upon them for assistance. They are here to help. The Keepers of the Earth acknowledge the work that you have already done and are ready to work through you. They bow at your feet and thank you for wanting to stand for them, to devote your life to protecting the earth in your unique way. It is time to increase your capacity to receive support in the physical realm. This can come in the form of financial abundance, acts of service from strangers, or people flocking to help you and your work. The only thing that is stopping you right now is your capacity to receive support. You deserve to be rewarded for the work that you are doing. You do not need to go at it alone. Call upon the Keepers of the Earth to help you and your mission. Open your heart and your mind to receiving more than you ever thought possible. What kind of support do you need? call it in right away. All right. I love that, and that it softens the message that I've been receiving here about it's your responsibility to take control of your life. It is, but that doesn't mean that we can't receive help or be open to help. We don't have to do it all alone. And if you have a belief that you do have to do it all alone, you're the only one you can trust, you're the only one who's capable enough, you're etc., then that can be what is blocking you. So it's now time to look at your beliefs about success. 4444 on the clock, guys. Look at your beliefs about success and about help and about other people. Maybe you've just been asking for help from the wrong people, the people who wounded you in the first place. And maybe it's time to look around for other people who are other keepers of the earth, who want you to elevate and succeed because it helps us all, guys. Look around for those pure-hearted people and really work on integrating more of those kind of energies into your life and on exemplifying more of those kind of energies. Because as you rise up into that self-sufficient person who glows because they're following their own path and they're living their own dreams and they're beholden to no one and they're giving justice to themselves. Finally, when you rise into that energy, others are going to see that and be attracted to it, and you're going to find help arriving from corners that you didn't expect it from. So many times this last year, as I've been doing videos, I received a donation, or I got a message from someone, or I received a gift in the mail from someone that I wasn't expecting. And it was never the people I was expecting things from really either, which is fabulous. It just tells you you just don't know who it is out there that's being affected by you and your hero's journey, and you are being that inspiration to them. You know, you, that Ace of Wands, who's showing people how to speak your truth and stand up for yourself. Maybe it's you going into the world like that to get your justice, that is inspiring other people, and it is letting them say, hey, you know what? This person deserves my support. I'm going to give them a call and ask them if I can come and volunteer this weekend with them on their usual event. So it can be something like that, guys. When you're out there doing the work you're passionate about and it makes you lit up inside, the people who resonate with that frequency are going to find you, and they're going to be drawn to you. That is my belief. So I'm going to get one final card out here from the numerology deck because we've had so many significant numbers coming up, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and give this a shuffle. Once again, happy birthday to all you Taurus folks. And everyone else, I hope you've been having a beautiful month. Thank you so much for understanding that it's been difficult for me to film readings right now. I'm selling my house and moving and also taking care of things with my mom. So, all right, we got two coming out. Another double number, which have been really important for me lately. We had that number 11, responsibility. We got number 77, spirituality. And we also have number 46, domestic harmony. So these are some really great things to think about as we're coming up in the upcoming year. Taurus and the collective. Spirituality, 77. I'm going to put that with this 7 of Cups and ask, you know, how is your spiritual body being nourished emotionally? How is your spiritual body being nourished physically? How can we pour more cups into our spiritual body? What kind of things do we want to bring there to elevate our spirituality? And with that number 46, domestic harmony, we've pointed out the numbers 4 and the number 6 coming out in the major arcanas here, which were the Emperor and the Lovers. So for domestic harmony, what I'm really seeing here is that if you've got a partner and you want to be the Emperor and lay down the law, you might need to have a little bit more give and take in order to achieve your domestic harmony. Or if you have that Aries energy and you come on really strong, you might want to soften up a little bit with that Queen of Cups energy, or the Moon, or the High Priestess. Dial it back just a little bit into a softer flow, which feels more loving and romantic, and that might bring more domestic harmony to you as well. I want to read that one. I think I've never seen that card come out before, and I'm interested in the message. So This card indicates a time of healing your relationships and your home. This may relate to a troubled relationship with a child, a family member, an ex or a current partner, a house guest, or a roommate. It could even relate to problems you've had with the actual house itself. So this could be the material journey that we've been talking about, guys. It could be something to do with your household or the occupants. So either way, this card has been sent to advise you that your difficulties are being resolved and domestic happiness is within your reach. So this card can indicate a time to make a commitment to your present relationship by declaring your love and desire to take things to the next level. So maybe that's what's being called for in the next year with that Lovers card. We're starting off with the Lovers card this month. Maybe by this time next year, the justice that you're going to want is making a commitment that's going to lead you to domestic harmony. Who knows? It can also reveal a need to commit to your present residence by extending your lease, deciding not to sell, or making necessary improvements to turn it into your perfect home. Regardless, this card is encouraging you to make a commitment rather than walk away. In order to improve your current situation, you're being asked to adjust to and harmonize with the natural rhythm and cycles of your life, cycles that are leading you toward domestic harmony and peace. Remember, there is no such thing as the perfect relationship, family, or home. Domestic harmony can only be achieved with effort, compassion, and compromise. There's that Lovers, which can signify compromise as well. By improving your relationships and your home, you will improve your quality of life. I love this. I feel like this can be an overall message for the entire upcoming year. By improving your relationships and your home, you will improve your quality of life. So, guys, if you're having a really hard time with the way life is right now around you at work, as a society, in the world, if you're experiencing a lot of fear and anxiety about those things, bring your focus back to your relationships and your home and improving the quality of your life. Also, your spirituality. Bring those things more into focus and take responsibility for bringing as much joy as you can into your current situation. That's what the cards are asking you to do, and you're being supported in that as a keeper of the earth and by your ancestors. So it's time to rise into our joy, to really state our truth, to receive help, and we're going to have some justice in our material world by recognizing that we're not a victim, guys. So these are the messages for Taurus. Wishing you all every blessing. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to donate, I have several ways to do that, which are listed in the description for this channel on the main page of YouTube. The channel page. I've got Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and Zelle if you know my phone number. I'm also available to book readings and to do Reiki session either in person or by a distance. So thank you all so much, and I look forward to our next reading. Bye, everyone.